Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Part 10, the finale of the Phoenix Wright trilogy of the main trilogy. I know that there's other games. I don't know when I'll get to them, but it'll probably be a little bit of a break before we do. I played 1, 2, and 3 pretty close together, but I feel like when I want to start the next game, they have to be somewhat fairly close together, and I don't know if I can promise that yet. But at least as of right now, the plan is to at some point play the others, but it's not as imperative. It is imperative once you get a story rolling to want to stop it and come to a complete resolution somewhat soon. But right now, what are we going to do? Dolly is in control of the body, and of who I'm assuming is Maya's body, although it hasn't really necessarily been confirmed yet, but she's being channeled by someone. I assume it's Maya. So how do we stop her? And I was thinking long and hard about it, and there's only one solution. It's called Egyptian chamomile. I don't know if you knew it, but one sip from that, and Dolly will be like, "Oh my goodness, is this what Terry Falls went through when he imbibed my poison and killed himself? My goodness, is this what I've been doing to people? I'm turning over a new leaf, and then she'll die." And that'll solve all of our problems except for getting Maya back. But I'm assuming what's going to happen is we're going to get our conflict between Pearl. I'm assuming Pearl is going to channel Mia, and Maya's going to be continuing to channel Dahlia, at least at this particular point, because there has to be because Dahlia was like, we'll see each other again, or had like some sort of like a we'll meet again. This is not over. So there has to be like this big pivotal moment where we're gonna have to confront each other or see each other in some manner. And so that's the only way I can see that sort of confrontation feasible. But as to whether or not it is truly Maya that's channeling her or not, I do not know. I'm suspecting that she tried to do this to kind of intercept and prevent Pearl from doing this, but um, having Morgan Fay's master plan being written to be followed by somebody who can't read, it's not a very strong plan. Probably a 2 out of 10 plan, I would have to say. How about teaching your child how to read first, and then you can exact your master plan and revenge? But I guess suppose she was arrested and had very little time to do that. But anyway, before we get fully started, a couple of quick announcements. Number one, let me just check to see if I'm live. My OBS chat is broken, meaning I'm going to have to use my other laptop here to be able to actually type in chat, which is not fun, but I will absolutely make sure I do that. So it looks like I am, in fact, live. Very good. I'm able to hear myself even better. So a couple of quick announcements. Number one, Lunar Silver Star Harmony is starting on Thursday. Since we're beating this game today, and I promised the first new game of 2026 was going to be Lunar Silver Star Harmony, that's what's going to be going on. The other more major announcement is that I'm going back to 4 days a week streaming. It's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday again. So instead of having like this day where I stream my own stuff being Tuesdays and Thursdays, it is going to be more spread out. It's going to be a Tuesday, Saturday again. People's redeems are going to be Monday and Thursday. What that will mean is that starting next week, I'm opening back up the redeems. They are going to be open up again for people to be able to redeem things. There's some things that are still on log, which I promised in my message below, chat. Everything has been kept. So that means Castlevania Curse of Darkness is first on the list, followed by Suitcase's DigiCara PlayStation 2 translation that was released, I almost said this year. It's no longer this year anymore. It's 2026 now. That was released in 2025. So I'll be playing that. And then whatever other people are redeeming after that will be done. I don't think I had anything else major. That was really the big thing. Oh wait, there actually technically was one other thing, but it's not really that major. T rotations. I'm now fully rotating the T options out each stream so that there's like different options each time because Twitch has the 200 character limit for redeems. Not fun. And then I guess I did have one other thing beyond that, and that's this. I have been slow on archive uploading my archives to my YouTube channel below, at least the archive YouTube channel below, and it turns out the reason why is I noticed whenever I was going back to my old playlist that everything got uploaded out of order, despite the fact that I was exporting them in order. It turns out that it doesn't matter the order in which you export your backup VODs. Is that whichever one is technically finished exporting first is always going to be coming in first, regardless of when, if you try to do it by date order. So the only way to do that is to upload part 4, then wait for it to fully upload like 10 hours later, then upload part 5, wait for it to fully, and that's like, so it's just like a pain in the neck. And unfortunately, it's a pain in the neck that I created, because if I was just exporting these at the end of every single stream like I'm supposed to be doing, it never would have gotten like this. So it's my fault. I'll have to fix it. Anyway, enough yapping from me. I'll be leaving that to the game. So let's go ahead and get started. I think that's allowed enough people time for people to filter in. So let's go ahead and play the game, but probably you'll want to see it first. So let's go ahead and plug in the capture card and then actually turn on the 3DS capture. And let's also make sure my mouse cursor for one stream isn't actually on the capture card. So get out of here. There we go. And I'm ready. February 10th, 1:06 p.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 7. Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness? Yes, how can I help you, Mr. Judge? Well, it seems that if we're to learn the truth, we'll need to hear your testimony. I have no problem with that. But when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown. In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night. It's a little unfortunate that I would have to remember basically everything I just did and kind of channel that back as we go. The plan. Okay, we don't even have cross-examination music, it's just Dahlia Hawthorne's theme. The whole plan began with my death. That was part of the plan? Okay, the whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fey would first have to die. The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. So that means you really are... Wait a minute. Did you just say the plan was to kill Maya Fey? Yes, you have a problem with that? Don't give us that nonsense. There's no way that... Watch yourself, Wright. If you've got a problem, solve it during cross-examination. That's my rule. Bring in the butts? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, Running Wild Video. I don't know if I can do that. The game might. But welcome. We're in the final stretches. Mr. Godot was correct. And by the way, that's my rule as well. I hope you're doing well. Running Wild Video, one thing I did want to say is I am bringing back the 4 days a week streaming starting next week. That means Castlevania Curse of Darkness that you redeemed however many months ago, I'm finally getting to play it. So sorry about the wait, but the wait will be over and I'll be playing it, and I can't wait. Coffee Man Saga's been going well so far, albeit not quite as well as Phoenix Wright 1 or Phoenix Wright 2. It's still going to score remarkably well, it's just not going to hit those must-play heights the other two games did. It's still gonna, I mean, it's easily a candidate for like a 78, 79 final score. I'm just gonna have to kind of settle on that. But it's not an easy 80 plus like the other two have been. So we'll just have to see. To kill Maya, could it be true? The plan. Oh yeah, I have barely any health. The whole plan began with my death. You were executed last month, correct? Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant. How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay? Last year. She was transferred to the same detention center as... Oh, how convenient. I mean, that makes a lot more sense. I guess I wasn't... Alright. Fine. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her. I see. So that's when you discussed the plan. Ha! Are you crazy? At first that woman was planning to kill me as well, even though I'm her own daughter. All to make Pearl Fey the master of Khura'in? She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor, the honor she lost when her younger sister Misty took her place as the master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan. A plan, huh? A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fey to instill her own daughter as the next master. You're talking about Pearl Fey? Is that correct? Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us. I'm glad Phoenix Wright specified whether it was Pearl Fey, because it seems like as the case keeps dragging on, more and more daughters exist. So are you sure there's not another one we haven't talked about yet? Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us. You and your twin sister Iris? That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father. Abandoned? The only person I ever really cared about in life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple. You mean Iris? Yes, my father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? And on top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general. How horrible. The real horrible one was that woman, that bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fey. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power, unfortunately for her. Morgan Fey heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back. All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family. But for it to work, Maya Fey would first have to die. Maya would have to die, but why? For our bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master, the remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of. But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya. How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master. That's all. That's ridiculous. She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally the life of Maya Fey as well. How could anyone do that? The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. You? You were going to kill Maya? Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was to follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. Then it would have simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead and there's nothing any of you can do to me. So, I mean, again, my theory is becoming more and more correct here. And I've already confirmed that Iris does not really have the spiritual power necessary. Neither Dahlia or her were gifted with it. Meaning the only person realistically possible of doing the channeling is Maya. There's nobody left. It's not like she's inhabiting Iris's body. Pearl's accounted for now. So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger sister, on Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. She and I look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it. And the witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini. I never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night. But she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway. Why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she? Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her. Backstabber? You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. You think the plan was a success? You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped. Maya Fey is dead. Now the title of the master will pass on to Pearl Fey. That's absurd. She's just trapped inside the sacred cavern. Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you, my darling Feeny? Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Actually, we knew that truth already. Your sniveling naivete and your pathetic faith in other people. I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Fay's plan? I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value other than fulfilling your own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of. If that's how you feel, why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya? You may not understand it, being the kind and gentle soul that you are. You may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that. So then tell me, why? Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only acted in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself, for my own personal satisfaction. What did you say? So this woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead? Do you understand why I would kill Maya Fey now? What my goal was? Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Fay. Helping? Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. I lived for myself, and in the end, I died for myself. I thought that was obvious. So she wasn't actually cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan so her plan so she could accomplish her own goal. All I wanted to do was kill Maya Fey. That was the only way I could think of to get revenge. Oh, against Mia? It's always been about that. Revenge. It looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. I've got to keep a cool head, and I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan and what she was after as well. Okay, this is clearly what I need to present on, but I cannot screw it up. I actually can't really screw anything up at this point with the amount of health I have. I'm assuming we have to present Mia. And we do. Could it be that your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself? As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore, because I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either. You wanted to take revenge on someone. I was sentenced to die because of that woman, Mia Fey. I somehow knew this was it. I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain she made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up, so the only other way she could have revenge is to inhabit Maya's body and effectively kill Maya that way. And the reason it was impossible? Was it perhaps because Mia Fey had already died? Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take revenge against the dead. And how do you do that? Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my revenge against Mia Fey. That was the reason I helped out with that woman's plans. Just for that? For that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fay. As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What a cruel plan. Cruel, cold, and heartless. Don't waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you there's not a thing you can do to me. Grr. That night, at about 9:30 p.m., I materialized into this world. What time did she get channeled? The only way for me to have my revenge was for me to die too. Well, the only way to effectively get revenge is to be channeled, probably in the Maya's body, and then, like, take revenge that way. We'll see, though. Welcome, Mackenzie. Hope you're doing well. So it was at 9:30. I can't remember exactly when Maya started in that training hall. Super kill me. I quickly pinned my hair up and put on a demon-warding hood. Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left Hazakura Temple. So, it was Elise Donham who channeled her after all. Oh, it was Elise. Okay. Well then, I guess I'm just wrong about the Maya plot. Okay. That ridiculous head nun never noticed a thing. She left Maya Fey at the inner temple and wobbled back, clutching her poor old back. What did you do then? That kid was easier to handle than I had hoped. I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... So then you're saying you stabbed Maya? It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. What does that mean, no clear memory? I don't know. I think I was stabbed. You were stabbed? At the last minute, Maya Fey must have stabbed me. I'm sure of it. That's not like her at all. Maya wouldn't stab a french fry with a plastic fork. Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness. Before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back. I had hoped it would cast suspicion on her. I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end. That's where my memory temporarily stops. Yeah, possibly that she was the backup channeler. I don't, although her reasons for wanting to channel, for her to channel Dahlia are very unclear to me. I don't know why Misty Faye would want to do that at all. But whatever. I'm sure, maybe I missed some sort of conversation thread that would explain why she would want to channel. But it seems kind of a strange choice. It stops. I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own two hands. My very last memory was Maya's terror-filled eyes. When I woke up after that, I was in the sacred cavern surrounded by darkness. You were in the sacred cavern? Okay, so it is. So I was right. I was right, then thought I was wrong, but I'm actually right. Typical. You're in the sacred cavern. The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow I'd been trapped in there. But how did you wind up in there? I'd like to know that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Fey was dead, and I swore I wouldn't return to the underworld until I knew I'd killed her myself. For a ghost, you're one tough cookie. I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out. The trick lock stopped you, huh? I didn't know how to remove it. So then you're saying you were actually confined against your will inside this sacred cavern? Yes, I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible, but it wasn't easy. I kept getting interrupted while I was working on it. Interrupted? It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall. What? Who? Could it have been Maya? I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see. Why not? If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge. So I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the sacred cavern. That morning, only 2 people could have gone inside the training hall. Maya and Pearls. Pearls went there to cover the hanging scroll in gravy. Still, I finally managed to remove the lock. But I was too late. What do you mean by that? The flies had already started to gather. The bridge had been fixed, and the police had started their investigation, correct? Naturally, I couldn't go out, so instead, I returned to the cavern and put the block back on myself. I realized that I wouldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped. But just then, Lady Luck showed up. Lady Luck. After that big earthquake, she showed up, all by herself. The real Iris? She said she'd come to make sure the sacred cavern was all right. Stupid girl. I came out from the sacred cavern and got a feel for the situation. And I locked her away in my place. I had finally learned exactly what had happened. It was then that I learned that the plan had actually succeeded. What do you mean your plan had succeeded? I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one that had summoned me was Maya. I had assumed that it was Pearl Fay. Well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written in the instructions. But I was wrong. The person that had actually called my spirit back was... Oh. Okay, it's still hovering on mistake. Okay. Well, then I don't really fully understand the Maya plot yet. I would have thought like something Maya trying to protect Pearls by doing the channeling so that Pearl didn't have to, ? But I still didn't quite understand that. Misty Fay, the picture book author. What? Well, that's really the only possibility. Oh, okay. Okay, I was about to say, I need to just play the game and stop reacting. Because I'll be like, oh, okay, she just thinks it's the case, but it's actually going to be Maya. Because I see no reason whatsoever Elise would have channeled. Misty Fay would have channeled. She's only discounting Maya because she believes that Maya's dead. That's the only real reason that she's being discounted this early. After I lost consciousness in the garden, it was her body that was left lying there. Maya Fay. I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all. But even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit. And that is matricide, the sin of killing her own mother. No way! Order in the court. What is the meaning of this? It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Fay. But even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Fay's life was none other than your darling little Maya. Ridiculous. That's nonsense. Are you sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there? What? What do you mean? What is this so-called evidence? The fact that Maya Fay has disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it? Huh? The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple, that much is obvious. In that case, there's only one place she could be. Where? Do I have to spell it out? The bottom of the Eagle River, where else? Eagle River? Maya Fay killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into the Eagle River. Most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever. So, what do you have to say now, Feeny? Ooh, Oops. Sorry, that's my phone. What kind of ringtone is that? Godot here. Okay, thanks. Was it something important? They just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern. That's great! What about Maya? She's not gonna be in there. There was a woman in the cave. It was Iris. We already know it's Iris. Was it Maya Fay? It was the accused, Sister Iris. Uh-huh. Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just got finished telling you that. So, what about Maya? Where is she? There was no one else found inside the sacred cavern. No, it can't be. I told you, didn't I? She's dead. No. No. And then they cut to a sprite of him leaning casually against the counter. They didn't even change it. Or the podium, or lectern, whatever you want to call it. It seems that this case has come to an end. A tragic end. Sadly, it appears the killer of Elise Stoneham, also known as Misty Fey, was her own daughter, Maya Fey. Overcome with guilt for what she had done, Maya Fey jumped to her death in the raging waters of the Eagle River. Can't be. Ha. Tried. Have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth, no matter how improbable it may seem. What is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godot? According to this witness, Maya Fey threw herself into the Eagle River. However, is that really the truth? Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden, which means if Maya had thrown herself into the river, it must have been from the inner temple side near the bridge. That's right, that's where she jumped from. But there are rocks below. But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there. What? Don't get your panties all twisted up, Wright. Just relax and think through the whole thing again. So it's impossible? Maya couldn't have thrown herself into Eagle River? Well, Mr. Wright, Mrs. Hawthorne claims Miss Fey threw herself into the river from the inner temple side. Do you have any evidence that refutes this claim? We do. Unfortunately, it is beyond the point where I can save. It's impossible to jump into the Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness. What did you say? 11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, I'm going to save just because I haven't saved in a bit. And I need to have high HP. Or as much as I can muster, anyway. Below the cliff on the inner temple side is a big rock shelf. Oh, you're right. She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, we should have been able to see her body in this photo. Ah. Ha. So you finally figured it out. You. No. I mean, if Phoenix died when he fell in and Maya was channeling him, maybe Phoenix Wright is just has been channeled from the very, very beginning. And that's why Godot hates him. Who knows? Order. You're just playing with me. Maya Fey's body's at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding. Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, you're Maya. That's my catchphrase. How about that? Whatever remains must be the truth. Yes, just a few minutes ago. Maya Fey wasn't inside the sacred cavern. We now know that she didn't throw herself into the Eagle River. Correct. That eliminates all the most likely possibilities. Now, although it seems improbable, there's still one other place she could be. What? What is this one possibility you're talking about? That's obviously a bluff. So where's her dead body then? Finally, I think the pieces are falling into place. Normally the living have no way to punish the dead. But I think there is a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya is this very instant? Maya Fey is in this very courtroom. There's only one possibility left. Namely, she's right here in this very courtroom. What? Maya Fey is here? You say that she's here in my courtroom? Yeah, one truth prevails. It did feel very case closed, didn't it? Dahlia Hawthorne, I seem to recall that you said I had misunderstood one thing, you see. So what? But I think there's one more thing you misunderstood. What do you mean? Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne? Why, that's obvious. It's Pearl Fay, that pathetic little sniveling runt. You're wrong. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it. I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened. I know, right? It's just like, it's not like she has convenient bottles of poison stashed around her neck at any given, oh no, how could we have let this happen? Yeah. Is there any explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit? It could happen if someone else was already channeling the same spirit. Someone called me before Pearl did? But who? Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime, but she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clearer to you right about now, am I correct? It wasn't Pearls that channeled you. There was someone who called you before she could. It was Godot. This is an easy one. Pearls couldn't do it, and Misty Fay is gone. There's only one possibility left. Come on already. I can't stand the tension. Yeah, Gumshoe. Hey, pal. You know, what Dahlia Hawthorne, the person channeling you right now must be Maya Fay. What? What? But how could that be? Remember what this witness Dahlia Hawthorne said about her goal. She said that her goal was to kill Maya Fay. Yes, that's right. But if Maya channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her... Ha. Well, Gramps, what would happen? Could it be... Oh, okay, so... Maya's... I guess Maya has been betting on the possibility that Dahlia values her own existence more than revenge, question mark? I guess? It looks like you finally understand, Your Honor. Well, I don't. What are you going on about? What I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you. And there's only one reason. To protect herself from you. To protect herself? From me? Yes. On the night of that crime, you were only interested in one thing. Killing Maya Fay. The path to the inner temple was closed off and there was nowhere for her to run. So then the problem became, where would be the safest place to hide? You mean, that's when she channeled me? All along you thought you had been channeled by Pearls. That's why it never occurred to you that Maya's hiding place was you. No, don't say that. So what I'm confused about is someone already channeled Dahlia at 9:30 before Maya was attacked, and then Maya was able to... I mean, how was Maya able to channel Dahlia at all? I mean, we've already established that only one person can channel at a time, but clearly someone was trying to kill Maya ahead of time, and I would have thought it was her, but how could that have happened? Like, I guess I'm a little bit confused about how it seemed like there's two Dahlia summonings happening at the same time. One to put Maya in a position where she felt the need to protect herself and caused a skirmish and name being written in blood. And then, I guess, afterward, somehow, for some reason that I don't quite get. So I'm a little bit... The narrative's kind of lost me, eluded me a bit here. I don't really understand how these series of events have really taken place. How Dahlia came to exist before she came to be channeled. If anyone wants to fill in the gaps or blanks there, I'd appreciate it, because I don't really get it. Anyway, you're saying that I was played for a fool by that little whelp? Maya Fey killed herself. Isn't it obvious? Sorry, but no, it would have been impossible for her to jump into the Eagle River. This was the only avenue of escape open to Maya. The only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple. I don't believe you. A stupid little girl like that who has never been out in the real world? She could never have come up with a plan like that. Who could have ever given her such a brilliant idea? Probably she read the letter. Well, me, of course. Mia, well, we knew this was coming. Mia Fey. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. So it's true. It was you. Yes. Ha. You're something else. But what? What are you doing here? Yeah, obviously at the very end we can talk about it. That hair. It's pearls, right? Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You had just cornered Maya in the Inner Temple's garden. And then, in the final moments of the fight, you lost consciousness, still not sure how she got there to corner her without being channeled by her first, but go ahead. I was stabbed by Maya Fey. Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you. She did. Not terribly surprising since she was about to be killed. When she woke up, she was in the training hall. That's when Maya decided she needed help, so she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do. She did that? I can't believe it. Of course, I didn't have all the details. But one thing was perfectly clear, and that was, I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free. Free? What do you mean? It was a race against time, so I wrote down 2 things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived. So it was Maya who put that lock on there. Yes, but why did you order her to do those 2 things? If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fey. Pearls? Yes, Pearl didn't properly understand the plan. All she was trying to do was follow her mother, Morgan Fey's instructions. If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly. So that's how it was. Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Fey to kill Maya at all costs. Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along. How dare you? I won't forget this. Why not just admit it? Dahlia Hawthorne, your little plan was nothing but a big failure. Yes, another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? What do you mean by another? Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes? Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure. What about the $2 million diamond? I mean, did she ever get it back? Did anyone get it back? What? How dare you? 11 years ago. The fake kidnapping. Your very first crime. You got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but after Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed. Shut your mouth, that wasn't my fault. It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman. And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but you wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny. You, wipe that smug happy-go-lucky smile off your face. And now this. You've messed up again. You let Maya Fey escape, even though she was right there in front of you. Mia Fey. Mia Fey, Mia Fey, Mia Fey. You spinster. I was supposed to kill Maya Fey like I swore I would. And if only you had gotten this spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death. True. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. What? What did you say? Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you will never defeat me. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all of eternity. I remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said there was no way we could punish you, because you were already dead. What about it? Then you said, even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, lives on forever. That's very true, Dahlia. And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all of eternity, you'll have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne, a miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. And for you, there is no escape from that, no hope of freedom. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that was once stretched out in front of you is burned to a crisp. You're wrong. It can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you? It no longer matters. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya's body right now. Oh, and she does. I mean, that's nice of her, I guess. You could have just... It's a good thing she didn't take Maya's life, I guess. Could have... That was an option. I'm not ready. Not ready to go. My big brother. Nick, sis, give me burger. Now then, I assume you are the real Iris? Yes, I was just rescued from the sacred cavern. I must say you and your twin sister are indeed identical from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne? Why are you asking him? You asked me, Your Honor. Looks like she went back to the hell she came from. It seems that Misty Fey wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Fey, as well as the young Pearl Fey, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan. Yes, Your Honor. The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again. Your Honor? Yes, what is it? About this whole spirit medium thing, it's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now. Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to study up on the Korean channeling technique. Hey, isn't it the New Year's issue of Occult? I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench, and in all that time, I finally learned this one thing. Each case is different, and takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first we have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ. Never thought of it that way. At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor. So, I guess someone still has to get punished, question mark? What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot? This trial, it isn't over yet. That's what he means. What? Trite, remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony? Huh? Dahlia's testimony? I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone. So who channeled her first? Was it Elise? But I still don't understand why. Yes, that's right. The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. So, okay, so there was the original channeling and then a separate channeling, but I don't know why the original channeling happened. Elise Stoneham. No, Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it. This isn't over? Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk until there's evidence that proves her innocence. No way. But the court isn't prepared. This court isn't prepared for any further testimony. The prosecution is ready to call our final witness. Final witness? This one will clear up the whole mystery. Morgan Fay? Who else can he possibly call? The mystery of who killed Misty Faye. Indeed. Is it really all right, Mr. Prosecutor? Oh, calling Mia. Of course it's all right, Madam Attorney. Very well then, who is this final witness? Ha, isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole event will put the final dagger in this case. Someone who saw the murder take place? The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes. You mean Maya? You can't. She can't testify after what she's just been through. We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Fay to the witness stand. Very well, but first we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Fay to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we'll proceed with the trial. Hey, Trite, I've got something to say to you, so listen up. What is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to just squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you. You've got some nerve. But that's not going to happen this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself. That's enough. This court is now in recess. I don't fully understand Godot's story at all. It seems to kind of be a little bit of a weak reason to hate us. Like enough to get in as a prosecutor to make our life hell. I don't really think the game has done a very, very convincing job of convincing me that this is like a very good and realistic vendetta to have against Phoenix Wright. I was expecting something a lot deeper than this, like some sort of overt thing that Phoenix failed to do that led to Mia's death. But it's just like, you weren't there. You should have always protected her. And I'm just like, okay, like whatever o'clock in the morning that she actually ended up dead, I was supposed to be there. It kind of fell flat. I don't know. I am going to take a quick break. So let me go ahead and get water here. And then I will come right back. And again, I'm having to use the other monitor down below here because I do not have, Twitch isn't loading on OBS, so I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Let's go ahead and continue on. The trial continues. I'm truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me, but I was missing all day and we didn't even have a chance to talk. She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they had already switched places, and Iris was inside the sealed cavern. I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on. Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you. Why did you help your sister out as much as you did? Huh? If you had tried to get help at the secret cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there. My sister. I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by our mother and never got any love from our father either. Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it? Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. If only Dahlia had come with me to Hazakura Temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about a thing. That's why That's why I promised her that I would help her. Are you talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago? Yes. I wanted to be useful to her in some way. But, as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute I ran away. Because of that, Dahlia's half-sister Valerie ended up. That was the case that wounded Mia so badly. But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder. Some people? You must mean, yes, 2 defense lawyers, Mia Fey and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who's getting too close to learning the truth. Dolly even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison for her. You. Oh, so I guess in this poetic way, he kind of hates that we were so naive that we, I guess, hid the poison without knowing we hid the poison. That's right. Iris, there's one more thing that I have to ask you. Yes, what is it? On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Elise Stoneham, was it really you? Yes, it was me. That night, after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone. There's a problem. Come to the Inner Temple right away. I got on the snowmobile and headed for the Inner Temple, but the path to the Inner Temple was cut off. Right. Exactly. We can't just leave the body here. All right, let's do this as you said. It was me. I was the one that received her body. The murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't bleed too much. The staff that Mystic Elise always held. I knew it. So the actual murder weapon was the staff. Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to Hazakura Temple in the snowmobile. But why? Why did you alter the body? I didn't want anyone to know the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Faye. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with a shishito. I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground. Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone. The real killer. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it. I see. Victim staff updated in the court record. Defendant? Yes? The judge is calling you. He wants you to see you. That's not, no, that's the wrong sentence. Fix it. He wants to see you in his chambers would be correct. We just need to get rid of the first you. He wants to see you in his chambers. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne. It's the bailiff's big debut with his lines, and they couldn't even bother to proofread him. All right. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you later. Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me? So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning. Phoenix? Mia? How is Maya doing? Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case. I see. You don't mean... She's learned who Elise Stoneham really was. Yes, I went to the medical office and talked with her. I've told her everything I knew. But why? Maya is stronger than you think. I knew she could take it. All of it. What do you mean by that? I want you to figure that answer out by yourself. The trial is about to restart. The real killer. Do you know who it is yet? Iris wouldn't tell me who called her. But still, I think that just maybe I know who it was. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the Inner Temple. And the criminal wasn't just there by accident, which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning. And one more thing, the victim was moved to the Hazakura Temple side by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck on the Inner Temple side for almost an entire day. Exactly. So the criminal was someone that wasn't in Hazakura Temple the following day. Oh man, this is the problem with doing these cases so broken up. Shockstorm, welcome. I'm doing fine. We're finishing up Phoenix Wright 3 before we start Lunar Silver Star Harmony on Thursday. It's the last Lunar game I've yet to stream other than Magic School on the Saturn. And then once that translation is done, that will complete my Lunar Saga. Although, possible repeats in the future, but at least for right now, I will have achieved that goal. Grandia, still not yet. Digital Museum does not have a translation undergoing right now, and it's been in hiatus for about a year and a half to 2 years, so probably not going to happen. But we'll see. We shall see. But it'd be nice to kind of close the chapters, close the books on both of those chapters, but we'll see. Whatever metaphor I'm trying to say, that I'm doing a terrible job of explaining, was someone that wasn't Hazakura Temple the following day. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win, or lose. Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally, it's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see anyway? And who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me. All by myself. To be continued. Well, I already took my break. There's no reason to take another. February 10th, 3:36 p.m. District Court, Courtroom number 7. Still working my way through Dragon Quest III on the Game Boy Color. So far, I definitely like it more than the HD 2D Poo Poo Pee Pee remaster that was released. But again, that's not saying much. I gave it a 68, making it the worst score I've ever given any sort of mainline Dragon Quest game in history. This is so far several points better. It definitely has a very unique charm to it in certain areas, but it still all seems purposeless and aimless, which was my main criticism of 3. After having some level of structure in the prior games, even they had structure to their freedom. This game is like complete anarchy, which makes it really, really hard to really get invested in. Its story is so dependent on one that it really doesn't stand on its own 2 legs that well. It has to lean on one to have a good twist, and it doesn't really have any good twists of its own, which is kind of one of the reasons I was like so negative when I initially played the HD 2D. So we'll have to see if I kind of feel similar sentiments when I finish it, but that's kind of what's going on. I'm playing it very slowly but surely. Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the tests we had performed earlier. Tests. Yes, tests on the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. Totally forgot about it. That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim. So what are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or... Due to time constraints, a full test wasn't possible. However, There's one thing we can say with certainty. It's someone in the Fae bloodline. The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood. That is all. Now then, let's restart the trial. So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. Then whose was it? Dagger updated in the court record. I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but I spent so much brain power putting together the showdown that was going to happen with Pearl Mia and Dahlia Maya that I didn't actually put brain power into figuring out this murder. So, whoops. I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims. I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So let's finish this quickly. Agreed. Very well. Please bring in the last witness. Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Fay. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Co. Law Offices. Maya, according to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the crane channeling technique. I'm frightened. The Fay clan, I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya. The pain the Fay bloodline causes must be unbearable. Very well. Now then, Miss Fay, when the event occurred, you were in the garden of the Inner Temple, and you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Stonham's murder. Is this correct? I didn't see any. Straighten up this moment, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please. Yes, Your Honor. At the Inner Temple. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against a stone lantern. The Maya writing is going to be important. I can feel it. I think I screamed, "Help me!" Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been the staff. Maya, the person who hit you, it was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? It couldn't be. That's the reason why I was confused, actually, because she couldn't have been channeled before she was actually channeled. Somebody else. Okay. So I was right to be as confused as I was, because it didn't make sense for Dahlia to have been threatening Maya before she actually was channeled by Maya. Question mark. I'm still... Put a pin in that for later. I have to move on, or I'm just going to ruminate over this stuff forever. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Maya, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't. Ha! Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. It seems that it will be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination. Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. At the Inner Temple. When it happened, who else was on the Inner Temple side that night? Well, Sister Bikini, of course. But I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well. On the day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So then, did Iris actually come later like she said? Well, let me think. She seems confused. It's probably because she's so tired. I'm wondering... I mean... if Misty Faye, for whatever reason, attacked Maya... But what would be the reason she would have had at that point to channel Dolly? I still don't know. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was preparing for the training. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. Who did it? Who hit you? Well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind. Sorry about that. You didn't see the person? But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was? Oh, let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. Maya's really having a hard time. What should I do? Leave her alone or press her harder? You are a witness, and this is what we do to witnesses. Come on, Maya, this isn't making sense. Why didn't you see this person? Well, let me think. It was, oh yeah, that's right. It was dark, that's it. It was dark. It's not good to have too much light around when someone is undergoing spiritual training. You're lying. Come to think of it, there was earlier testimony to that effect as well, so it was dark in the garden on the night of the crime, which is why she didn't see her attacker. I thought maybe she was trying to hide something, but I guess not. Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely the spirit that was channeled by Elise Stoneham, Dahlia Hawthorne. Very well, please continue with your testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head? Stumbled and ended up against a stone lantern. What happened afterward? My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape. I think... You think? After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There were only two things rolling around in my mind at that time. Well now, this is beginning to get interesting. So what are the two things rolling around in your mind? Hamburgers. And then cheeseburgers. My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason, I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was. Bear Kidney, welcome! Thank you for the hydrate. I am going to actually fill up my water with the pitcher over there. Be right back. Alright. So, what did you do then? I think I screamed, "Help me!" You think you screamed, but you're not sure. Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits. Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes. I thought this person might attack me, so I Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that was my last hope. Wow, it sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do I do? Do I press her for more details? What did she scream? My last hope. Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean by your last hope? No, no, no. That's what you said. You said my last hope. Huh? What? I said what? Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, help me. Yeah, but you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like, what do you call it when that happens? Maya's not doing so well up there. Oh, yeah, Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. What did you just say? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help. What is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Huh? Witness, are you absolutely sure what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person? I am, well, I meant to keep that part a secret. Nah, what have I done? It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. A ton of pressure? You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony. I could see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern. Was this the man? We know surprisingly few of them in this game. And he seemed a little bit rattled about the blood that he couldn't see. You can see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern. Do we need to go back and press the other dialogue about what she screamed? A man? Who is this man? Well, you see, I couldn't see. You couldn't see? She used this excuse twice now. Well, you know, lantern light isn't that very bright. Lantern light, did you say? There's a great big stone lantern in the garden. They always light it when an acolyte is there for training. But they didn't light it that time. We had explicit testimony they didn't do that. Hey, you know what they say? Under the lantern, darkness reigns, so I couldn't see the person that was further away, but not my attacker who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time. Yeah, it was not lit at the night of the crime. I'll do that in a minute, but first, something warm splashed over me. You don't mean, was it? I didn't know it at the time, but I think it was probably blood. She's saying that's when Miss Donham, who was channeling Dahlia, was stabbed in the back by the killer. At that moment, I was paralyzed with fear. I was just sitting there in the snow. I'm sure blood had got on everything around me. So there was a man standing behind your attacker. Yeah. That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Donham, otherwise known as Misty Fey, your mother. The killer? Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think she's in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony. Huh? What do you mean? What problem? Maya, on the night of the crime, the stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. No. Order in the court. Mr. Godot, explain this. Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of café au lait. Café au lait? Is that even legal? Mr. Tright's words are the milk and you are the spoon. Your Honor. I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony bard, I'll have you know. Oh, Final Fantasy IV reference. You must have noticed the two Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Sorry, but that's not going to cut it. What did you say? If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick, may I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker, and she quite clearly described him as a man. In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of the attacker in front of her. No! Order. What in the world does all of this mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under pitch black conditions?
Objection!
Trite, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene.
Objection!
There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him. Cover? For the man that killed her mother? There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick, I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. It's not the mother of, Pearl and, not the mother, excuse me, the father of Pearl, Iris, Dahlia. Ha! You talk a good game, Trite, but let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't. Please, stop. Maya is dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. All right, Mr. Wright, time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness? Because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show us something like that? It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. But it can't be. Ha. That was a nice bit of deduction. Trite. Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. Order. Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Ha. Your Honor, You're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights? Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong. I never saw that. Maya, I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man for a totally different reason. What? Witness, Mr. Wright, what the? Stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. All right. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone, and all of the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor, No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot said, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you'd be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the criminal was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. What I came to was just lying there on the training hall floor. So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think it happened when the victim was stabbed, so that the person that carried you to the inner temple, it could only have been the killer. That's what I think, too. So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. I don't know. It looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. Good hint. Torches were lit and the body was gone. The torches were lit? Yes, that's how I noticed the whole scene had changed. I'm going to say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be? The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body? That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Very well. Let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene. And all of the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural looking rectangular shape around the lantern. So this is where, again, his freak out about the blood being on it and the message being scrawled matters. Because he went through, the contradiction here in the testimony is the one thing that was not cleaned up that should have been cleaned up is still there. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy, way too heavy for me to use. An odd fellow indeed, the killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away? Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow? Yeah, the area I collapsed in ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think it's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, why is the blood there? There was no need to remove that amount. That's true. He could have scooped up just snow that was stained with blood, but he didn't know because he can't see the color. Looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue, but I think this will help explain them. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. So you're saying that you never saw the killer, right? Yes, but earlier you very clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker. Nick, I'm sorry. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble, moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. But for what purpose? Why do all that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. Now back to that statement. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so, but why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something. You did? Yes, I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me, for my sake. What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden, she may have thought that you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened? Yes, I'm sure of it. Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. And so I'm back to... And I'll press, but then I'm going to present the lantern again. Funny time we get to present it twice. Did it for your sake? Well, if the body and the blood hadn't been removed, I would have immediately been the prime suspect, right? Yes, I suppose that's true. Yeah, and if that happened, the body would have caused some other problems too. If a real identity had come out right then, it would have been terrible. Master of Crane killed by her own daughter. I don't think Maya would have been able to handle it. But still, it's rather difficult to fathom the killer's motives. What reason is there to go through that much trouble to protect you? Let me save just to be safe, but I'm 99.9999% sure I'm gonna have to present the lantern there. Yes. The body of Elise Stonen was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all of this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that still seems somewhat odd. Oh? And what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't he wipe the writing off the lantern? You're right. Order, order, order. But, Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing. But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all of that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. It's because colorblind. Didn't know how much snow to remove because it didn't see where the red was on the snow. And didn't see the lantern blood, so didn't think to clean it. And you're gonna Godot to jail. How about that? Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern? The killer didn't notice it. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There is no way any normal person would. What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. And who would that be? Who is this person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing? You, Your Honor, apparently. Godot. Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern? There's something written on it. Why, it's written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case in Trevienne. This is the apron that the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on it. There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-colored stain is smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup, because it was red. Ha! It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you couldn't see the red writing on the lantern? Hey, Gramps, didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer, but there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You were the murderer of Miss Elise Stoneham, also known as Miss Misty Fay. It's hard to believe this may be true, however. Once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you. Ha. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on. How does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there. I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. This is rich. Do go on, Trite. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow. The snow? How so? Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If they wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area? Yes, why did they take just that area? Could it be? Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow, and so he had to remove all of the snow. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. They would have been able to see fine. It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot? Wait, just a minute. Maya, what is it, witness? Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple. Sorry, we saw you. Until 2 days after the murder took place. Oh, okay, there was the compound sentence. He didn't show up until after that old bridge got fixed up.
Objection!
Maya, you can't testify to something like that. Why? What do you mean? I may not look it, but I'm... Eek. After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. She didn't? I'm afraid I don't follow. Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right. Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Maya, do you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Nicely done, Wright. Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the Inner Temple after the murder. Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling and my spirit left me, as it were. But that little girl was there at the Inner Temple, too. Pearlie was also stuck on the Inner Temple side that night. The next morning, she looked around but could not find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up. Who is this Pearlie? That's my little cousin, Pearl Fay. So when did you hear about this? Oh, just a while ago, while I was in the medical office. I'm terribly sorry, but what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. What? Come on, Pearlie would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath. Ha. The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness. Mr. Godot, let's just move on to the cross-examination. If the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual, but... Well, Mr. Wright, let's get this cross-examination started. After the incident. Pearlie was also stuck on the Inner Temple side that night. So where do you think Pearl slept that night? In the spare prep room next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training. But even so, why did she go to the Inner Temple in the first place? It seems that Pearls became very worried about Maya. She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense. Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the Inner Temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise Stoneham. The next morning she looked around but couldn't find anyone. She searched the entire Inner Temple side, end to end. Well, you see, Pearlie gets pretty scared when she's alone, and there weren't that many places to look. She says that she even went back and forth several times. The Inner Temple site has two structures, the training hall and a spare prep room. And there's also a storage shack. I think that's about it. There was a storage shack too. Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined a storage shack all that carefully? Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I'd investigate. So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge. What do you mean? I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge. Oh, well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the time. She just said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times. Poor little girl, all alone like that. Well, we know that she had at least one friend in the sacred cavern, Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with the trick lock. She couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed? That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time. So was your first time on the Inner Temple side, Mr. Godot? That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question? Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness. What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor. Touché, Mr. Wright. Oh well, what do you have to say, Mr. Godot? Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't been for this case, I never would have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains. I think I'll pass. So he had never visited Hazakura Temple or the Inner Temple, huh? Ha! You want me to say something, Trite? In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examine Maya, that is. Very well, please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the police came over to the Inner Temple side, right? Yes, then Mr. Godot... He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up. He cheered her up? That's what Pearlie said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot. And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. Ha. Cut it out. You're making me blush. This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves, in more ways than one. The truth is there aren't that many places to look on the Inner Temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-tooth combs, so I decided to carry out and investigate in my own way. Godot style. I'm the same way. I like to hand down verdicts in my own way, judge style. Maybe I should ask some questions, Phoenix style. Cheering Pearls up. Godot's investigation. Save, please. They wanted me to establish this via the testimony. I guess both of these options involve talking to Godot. So you cheered Pearls up? When I found that little girl, the first thing she asked about was your cousin, Maya Fey. Really? The bridge had burned down and she was huddled up in that tiny shack with no heat, even though she must have had a truly terrifying night out there. She asked about you before she said a thing about herself. Pearlie, I noticed that you weren't anywhere on the Inner Temple side, but I couldn't find it in me to tell her that, so I gave her my last cup. With milk and sugar, to hide the bitterness of the harsh truth. What a sweet story, Sniffle. He had a thermos of coffee? Why doesn't that surprise me? There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when this murder was taking place? He must have already been at the Inner Temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise Stoneham. Press and then ask about cheering Pearl up. Or the other option, excuse me, about the investigation. Godot's investigation? You said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything? It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Trite. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Oh. You done goofed? You goofed? Beauty. Misty Fey, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Western tastes? Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy? So from there you headed to for the prep room? Wait a sec. What did Godot say just now? I think I just found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder took place? Must have been in the Inner Temple. But I can't admit that it's a testimony. I want to present the hanging scroll, but I don't know if it's appropriate to do that yet. No. The answer is no. So what do I need to do here? Problem is I don't have enough HP to go through multiple attempts before a reset. I basically have to just reset that in there. Okay, so it's not presenting information about the inner temple. The timeline is messed up. I just... I'm not quite clear on what they want me to do here. It was the right... It was... Damn it, it's always the right evidence, wrong line, isn't it? Mr. Godot, the first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went to the Inner Temple was long before the murder took place. Why do you say that? Because you just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall. Hanging scroll? But Mr. Godot is right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother. Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this. What's that wonderfully delicious smell? The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. Gravy? But why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Fey. Wait a minute, Nick. Yes? Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look, at the top. There's a crest there. It's the mark of the master, correct? Exactly. So if you know the meaning of that mark, then you could guess that it was a picture of Misty Fey on there. True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Oh. Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the Inner Temple long before the crime took place. Can I ask you just one little thing, Wright? What is it? This whole theory of yours. It all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed. That's right. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak onto the crime scene. Of course, Mr. Godot knew about the plan. Huh? What did you say? Is it really possible that another person knew of this plan? Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. I'm gonna have to restart so far back, I can't save now. Mr. Wright, at this stage of the game, a mere guess is simply unacceptable. So in the end, you were just bluffing, huh? Well, don't expect any sympathy cards from me, Wright. Well, we have a long way to go back. I don't know how long it's been, but we have to go back quite a way. I don't think I'm understanding what the question is actually asking is the other problem. Gotta go back through this entire presentation of this. And then save when we get a little bit closer. My other tie, unfortunately, got covered in sauce from lunch. Not from eating the lunch, but from after putting it in the container and trying to transport it into the car. Even having the right container So, I'm wearing a different red tie, and I'm not wearing a white shirt today. I had worn a white shirt for court earlier, but, unfortunately, messed it all up. So, having to... Thankfully, none of it landed on the suit. Just having to mash here for a bit until I get closer to save. Okay, so I'm going to save here that I knew beforehand. So do I have to go to the letter? Are they wanting me to present the letter, or are they wanting me to present a person? I don't know what they're wanting. So... Knew about the plan. The crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere in Fay Manor for a year. However, by the time little Pearls found these instructions, they had already been unsealed. Unsealed? Yes, the killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how I knew the crime was going to take place at the Inner Temple. And you're saying this crafty killer is me? You bet I am. But you just said that the instructions were hidden. That's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden. If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out. I'm going to save again. I have no idea how many times I'm going to be peppered with questions. Probably a lot. Yes, and when was that? During a visit. A visit? Morgan Fay told her daughter, Pearl, about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden. Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center? Yes, it could be arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot. Order, order, order. Mr. Godot, you're under fire again. This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you were the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder. Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee. Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid in the Inner Temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness? That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. I am what you see. I'm certainly not the type to rescue the damsel in distress. The killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect this witness's life, his behavior is still a little too unnatural. However, they want me to present Mia. Probably. You had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs. I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick? Maya, I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason, huh? Okay, Wright. I'm all ears. Let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you. What's this? There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably. There's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister. Mia Fey? You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney. Wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney? With your Honor's piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot, his real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right? The last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago. Diego Armando. That name rings a bell. It should, Your Honor. All of this is related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court. The tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise, but in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her, Diego Armando, a senior defense lawyer at the office where Mia worked. It's my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself. Mia, you can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. I was moved by her, the way she put all her faith in her clients, that pure sweetheart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping incident. Then one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria. Ah, I just remembered. 6 years ago, right here in this courthouse, you were poisoned. Even I didn't see it coming. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. Some newspapers at the time called it a murder. Cherry Cosmo, welcome, Tay. You didn't totally miss it. Welcome back home. Plenty of time to put on some tea. And here's our lovely little box, which will unfold into a triangle tea bag, which for things I'll explain in just a moment are actually really convenient, I have learned. I did not know they were going to be as brilliant as they were in design, but they may overshadow the tea itself. We'll see. Some newspapers at the time called it a murder, but very little information about the case was released to the press. Microplastics? Yes, that is the only downside. Is with having the tea bags, you're going to have the microplastics. It's not loose leaf. There are some loose leaf options on there, but I am trying to work my way through some of the teas that I did get for Christmas. They do enhance the tea. That we call them flavor enhancing crystals, I guess. But very little information about the case was released to the press. But you weren't dead at all. No official reports ever actually called it a murder. Yeah, you know what she slipped into his coffee? It was Egyptian chamomile. It almost killed him, almost took him out. I was just in a deep, deep coma. I see. My body shut down and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poison did a real number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight, and all of my hair turned white due to the damage it caused. And it is Thai too, somehow. It took splash damage. That's terrible. Apparently it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. 5 years had passed since I drank that poison brew. Then one morning, my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. 5 years? You were asleep for 5 years, and the worst possible news was waiting for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered, and the woman I loathed had been sentenced to death. The woman you loathed? The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee, Dahlia Hawthorne. Ha, good old Mia. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up. That's so sad. For someone like me, for someone who had slept away their best days, there were only 2 reasons left to live. And it was for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live? The first was you, Wright. Huh? Me? If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her, but you let her die. It was all your fault. It really wasn't like that. I think it's pretty shoddy reasoning. I wanted to see for myself what kind of a man you really were. So that's why you became a prosecutor. My other reason for living. She goes by the name of Maya Fey. Huh? You mean me? You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Crane Village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her. That's how you overheard Pearl's visits with Morgan at the detention center, which again, very bad plan to have a letter written to a child who can't read. I don't know what her thought process was, but it was not a very smart plan. I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it. That makes sense. If Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out. Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both of my accomplices. Accomplices? Iris of Hazakura Temple and Misty Fey. So that's why Misty channeled Dahlia, because that was the part I was confused about. As I understood the second summon, I didn't understand the first. Could not have possibly understood why she was summoned the first time, and now I am getting it. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Fey. But how did you contact my mother? She had been missing for almost 20 years. Officially, yes. What? What do you mean officially? You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government? Now that you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said that the Master of Crane had great authority. Even without her official position, Misty Fey still wielded great influence. The tea kettle has beeped, so let's get the water ready. Hot water is ready. We have our lovely microplastics here. So this tea bag, even though it looks kind of wonky, it solves a very, very common problem I have with tea. At least for tea, where I put the tea bag in first, water in second, because that's usually the process, and I'm so used to doing that. But what happens almost every time that you do that? The little tea bag handle that's at the very, very end gets suctioned into your tea, and you have to fish it out with a spoon or with your bare hands or something. Because of the way the tea bag falls, it never falls in all the way. Like it perfectly contours the boundaries of the cup. So never again do you have to worry about fishing out the end of the tea bag from your actual cup of tea. So for that reason, it is an almost 10 out of 10 design, except for the microplastics. That's the only reason that I would have to ding it some points. But the design itself is good. But will the tea be good? We'll have to see. Yes, it's very pretty. I think it's cute. I think it's actually, at first I'm like, oh, they've got a little leaf at the end instead of like as far as the paper leaf, and it's very, very cute. But I'm like, oh, this is actually really brilliant. Incredible innovations. Yes, what will they think of next? Well, hopefully it is a tea that tastes good, because I've not tried this one before. Even without her official position, Misty Faye still wielded great influence. The police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor, which you only became one in like, you hadn't even been a prosecutor that long. How did you do all of this? So my mother was cooperating with you? Don't ever forget, no matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you. She was always? That's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, look at her staff. Her staff? The one with the sword in it? Yeah, I mean, apparently yes, because a prosecutor can lie and switch. I guess he can lie and switch if his identity is technically hidden. I guess you're not supposed to be able to do that, but I guess he did. But also, it's just the fact that just because you become a prosecutor, who also, by the way, at the beginning of this entire game, it sounded like he took on exactly 0 cases. So how did he get this much influence to be able to... I don't know. Anyway, best not to think about it. Her staff? The one with the sword in it? The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me your special staff. Ah, of course. Makes sense. Should have guessed. I realized it then, just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fay, if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price. Mother. That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan. You mean pearls, don't you? We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne. Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight? Well, if you'd like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we could read some books together. We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan, but she never showed up. She was worried and followed me to the inner temple. That was the thing we were most afraid of, and that's why Misty Faye had to do the channeling herself. So initially in my trying to put together all of the theories, I had initially theorized that Maya had channeled Dahlia to protect Pearl from channeling Dahlia, but I didn't know why or how Maya knew that. And then when the game was like, oh, Maya's in danger and had to channel her, I'm like, danger from who? Who would have been attacking her before it was channeled? And it just prompted a whole series of me being confused at the beginning of the stream until I realized, there's 2 separate phases of Dahlia. But like, then I was like, who summoned phase 1 before we went to her final phase? Misty Faye had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body. What? What do you mean? If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself. As Master of Karain, Misty Faye's power was supreme. Yes, I know, right? So that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Fay wouldn't be able to. What? What? Is this true? My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Fey. That's why I hid myself at the Inner Temple, just in case you needed to be safe from Dahlia Hawthorne. Godot. Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to, Trite. Huh? There's no doubt about it, you're a great defense lawyer. But you're going to have to do the rest yourself. The background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. I'm going to save in case they're going to ask me a question, because I've been listening to a huge exposition for a while. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Fey, and I'm sad to say, you, Mr. Godot. Yeah, I didn't feel like I was. Well, Trite, if you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish this on your own. No, Nick, please don't. Maya, I heard the whole thing from my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia. And me too. I know that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we haven't been willing to kill for Maya. Maybe we're not that great. I don't know. We'll have to see. Is it cooled down enough? About 3 more minutes. Maya, I know that. Nick. But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I guess, you know, you could have... I understand the reasons why she couldn't be contacted, but... basically, she made one mistake, a big, huge mistake, and then the DL6 incident, and then everything else fell after that. But, I mean... I guess you can... it has been... It's been like 20 years, right? So, yeah, I guess you shouldn't be, like, this shaken up. Maybe. Miss Fey, your testimony, please. This is the final testimony. Well, that's pretty bold of you to say. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. Yeah, I know, it's just like... She definitely was shelved, just like kind of Godot was shelved. Until they became kind of... very convenient to come out. I wish her reveal kind of mattered a bit more, but all of it happened in this one super long chapter, so it didn't really get to percolate very well. See, I made a coffee reference. Godot would love it. I want to hear the truth from your own lips. I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick. All right, young lady. Tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder? The time of the murder. Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights. 3 of them. I thought I'd ask for help, but just then it was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead, though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly, the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness. These red lights. I thought you said you don't remember seeing them. I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden. Ha. Things break, Trite, even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Faye? It looked like you still can't. Looks like you still can't prove it. Maya's telling the truth this time. I know it. The rest is up to me. Well then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your final cross-examination of the witness. Oh boy. The time of the murder. Time to drink the tea. Huh. So, Cosmo Cherry. How do I put this? It's the flavor of cherry that you're kind of afraid of things having cherry flavor tasting like. I don't want to say it's like memories of having like Tylenol when I was like way young, with that kind of flavor to it, but it's that kind of a cherry taste, which is a shame because the uh, the design of this is actually quite lovely. The flavor, however, is not so much. It definitely beats Egyptian chamomile. I think I'm pretty comfortable having it sit neatly at a 70, but it's drinkable. It's drinkable. It's just like you've you gotta love drinking Tylenol, I guess, to really do it. And I don't know. I keep going back to it. Maybe I do. I don't know. Idea. I'm thirsty. Maybe a good tea to have when you feel like you're sick or you feel like getting sick. I suppose that's the other interpretation. I mean, either way, if you're in either mood, yeah, herbal tea is great. I know it's so hard to find a good one. I guess rooibos is like the only one that I've had some semblance of success with. Although most of the time they just end up tasting like ashtrays, which is like a really weird adjective to describe what they taste like. But um, mint is like the safest tea. If you can give me a good mint, I'll be like, okay, it's mint. Like there's just it's a mint tea. It tastes like mint tea. That's fine. But yeah. So the time of the murder, just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights, 3 of them. Lights shining in the dark? I don't think you could make a mistake about that. Yeah, you're right. I think I saw them, but I can't say for certain. And I can't tell you for sure if they were from Mr. Godot's mask either. I don't get the feeling she's covering for him anymore, but press harder. But just after that, you turned towards the lights and called for help. Isn't that because you thought the lights were coming from Mr. Godot's mask? Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's what I was thinking at the time. But I can't remember, after all. There was a person in front of me I couldn't identify. Maya's life was in terrible danger at the time. There's no way she can remember the details of the scene perfectly. Alright then, let's go on with the testimony. What did you do when you saw the red lights? I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. That blood? Was it Dahlia Hawthorne's blood? I think so, probably. Just at that moment, I heard a soft scream that seemed to be close by. It was a woman's voice. So that was when the killer stabbed the victim from behind with the murder weapon. Is that right? Without a doubt, Maya was in the middle of a really dangerous situation. Anyway, the victim was stabbed by the murder weapon. What happened after that? She wasn't dead, though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. With what, though? The murder weapon we have now updated to be her cane. So, if she says I struck back with the cane, or she struck back with the cane, we have to press on that, or present on that. Struck back, how do you know that? Well, you're right. I didn't see it exactly, but I can tell by the sounds of their breathing and movements. Sorry about that. And also, the smell of blood. Thank you. You have witnessed more horror than any young lady should ever have to in one life. Drink more Tylenol tea. Like I said, for getting you sick. It's also the color red, which Godot refuses to drink in terms of his beverages. So then, what did you do at this point?
I couldn't move. I could just barely make out the shadows moving in the dark, but I had no idea what to do. Could you still see the red lights you mentioned earlier? Yes, I think so, but... Suddenly the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. They went out? Yes, suddenly I couldn't see them at all. What could it mean? The red lights were coming from Godot's mask, and they went out right in the middle of the fight. Maybe the mask was damaged. Or maybe it was knocked off. Or maybe the batteries ran out, right, Trite? Or maybe those little red pinhead-looking lights just stopped working. What could have really happened then? Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. What do you mean by just at that moment? Do you mean the moment when the red lights went out? Yes, that's right. The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice. What? What? So then that scream came from the killer? Bum bum bum. Sorry, I have to attend to my nose. Be right back. By the way, one really funny contradiction I see in this case, but not sure it was covered, or if it's 40 Chess and Godot, but he wants to protect Maya so bad. Why is he trying to get her convicted for this murder? I mean, earlier he was working with Iris to pin Maya with the blame. Yes, that is a very good question, isn't it? What was going on there? Was Godot just humoring the fake Iris suspecting Phoenix to see right through it and not get Maya convicted? Was he hoping to get away with this? I think you broke the case clean in half. I don't know what he was expecting. But, you know, because this is definitely a case I'm going to have to sit back and reflect on a bit more than I've been doing, because it's just been kind of exposition scene with Godot, exposition scene with Dahlia, and just having to put all these pieces together about everything. But yeah, that is really strange, now that you mention it. I guess he put our trust in me to see the whole thing through to the end. Yeah, well, I mean, he also testified, like, that was an outcome they were desperately trying to prevent happening. Like, they wanted to keep an eye on Pearl. They clearly did not want Pearl to channel Dahlia at all. Maybe that would have been what would have happened, because, you know, Maya's Mia's sister. You know, Pearl's not so much collateral damage. No, I don't think, you know. Oh, did he kill Dahlia? Did he kill Dahlia expecting her to be Pearl? I think him talking with Pearl later kind of deconfirmed that. Maybe at least in his internal mind. Although that was after everything. What a mess. It's so hard to keep track of all of these threads, isn't it? Was Iris to take the fall, but he messed up because of the pillar. Yeah, he should have fluffed the pillar or done something with it. I don't know why he unfortunately, that ended up being his undoing. That and the case that he ended up having, where we ended up, he didn't see the blood stain on the apron, or the ketchup stain. The scream came from the killer? That's gotta be it. I think Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it, right? Because the blood was somebody that was not the victim's. So it was
it was Godot that got stabbed, so back into a coma for another 5 years for him.
And then the killer let out a scream of pain, huh? After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow. I guess. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems to make sense to me. It sounds like a reasonable deduction, but I still kind of wonder. There's a contradiction. I'm sorry to say this, but that interpretation would create an enormous contradiction.
That makes sense. After all, my deductions are almost certainly never correct.
Remember the testimony she just gave? Before the killer let out a scream, Maya said that she had already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade and the staff had already been plunged into the victim. Is that right? She couldn't have struck back with the sword that was already stuck in her body. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, Wright. There's only one thing I can think of that could have been used as the weapon here. Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed in the back by the staff. What could she have used to strike back at the killer?
Gravy. It's going to be our dagger.
Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Although, how did Dahlia know about the sword cane? I guess. I guess the point is that she didn't know. That's why she brought a dagger. Got it. Never mind. Moving on. This dagger was found at the crime scene stuck into a pine tree. Yes, the detective found that this morning and brought it to me. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this, and she managed to wound him as well.
Objection!
Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have been from the victim. Nope, it was ruled out as not being the victim's blood. Have you forgotten that the blood has already been tested? Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body, or you can just fully test the blade and you win that way. But so you're saying the blood on this dagger belongs to the killer? Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood would prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Yes, just like Von Karma. Time to bust out the metal detector. And yes, Mr. Godot would prove that it's your blood. Although the metal detector would get, oh, he's got the perfect defense. He's got his stupid goggles on. Oh my gosh, it's gonna make all the readings off. He's a brilliant man. He planned this far ahead. Thwarted the metal detector. Nice theory, Wright. Order in the court. Is this the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test. Ha. Let me ask you something, Trite. Let's just say that it turned out that I was the killer. Do you really think I would be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? Yes, if you didn't see the blood on the knife. What? Just think for a second. This dagger was found in the morning by a detective and brought it to me. There was already a blood stain on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom. Yes, what does that prove? Well, if I really were the killer, I could have washed the blade off and then planted another person's blood on it. It can't be. In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, Trite. That blood, it doesn't belong to me. Not a chance. What? Can't believe it. Tested the blood. It actually belongs to Diego Armando. Oh, crap. In any event, it seems to be established that the killer was wounded. All right then, witness. Continue your testimony. Hold it. Wait a minute. What's the problem? I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation. Maya, this dagger, you said that it wounded the killer? That's right. But, if Mr. Godot had really been cut with the dagger, his clothes should be bloody or have a rip in them, right? Maya, maybe you just changed his clothes? That'd solve the contradiction pretty easily. What are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember back to the day of the murder. Everyone that was on the Inner Temple side got trapped there. Ah, that's right. And once the bridge was fixed and the police headed for the Inner Temple, Mr. Godot was already there waiting for them. He never had a chance to change his clothes. Ah! Order in the court. What the witness says is true. Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him. But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes? Did the judge just take smart pills during the last recess? Well then, maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. That way he wouldn't get any blood on them. That's impossible, Wright. You know how cold it gets up there late at night. Eh? After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen solid. Ah. Ha. So that's all you've got. I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Right now, if Mia Fey were here, she would have closed the book on this case already. Mia Fey were here? So come on, Wright. Can you do it or not? How about it, Mr. Wright? Well, I better save. I know one thing I can do, which is pour more hot water. I will say there is a sourness to this tea that does differentiate it a little bit from Tylenol. If people are wanting to know what the brand is, it's called Tea Forte, and that's what has the apricot amaretto, the blueberry merlot, cherry cosmo, kiwi lime ginger, mojito marmalade, and a bunch of other herbal crap that probably none of you want to drink, but in case you do, that's what it's called. Tea Forte, yes! Please stop, please don't be sick. Please don't ever be sick enough to have to drink herbal tea, if you can help it. Oh, I didn't even, oh, it was wordplay. I see what you, okay, I see. Now that I said it out loud, I get it now. It's so weird, I do wordplay all the time, but I just don't get it when other people do it. It's so odd. How about it, Mr. Wright? You've accused Mr. Godot of being the killer. But can you prove it? Have you got even one piece of evidence? It's my superpower. The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is, I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. I was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. I can prove it. I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition, just as you want it. Ha, that's good. Fighter to the bitter end, Wright. Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't we go for the unlimited penalty? Alright, I'll play your game. Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need. Give me a break. You've got nothing, Wright. So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I've got to think outside the box and approach this from a different angle. Alright then, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you've got. There's one thing I've demonstrated in the previous cross-exam, and thank you for the summary so I at least know tangentially what I need to try to do here. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger. But we decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound unless it was to his face, which is why the goggles went out. If he had been cut by a dagger, there should have been a blood stain on his clothing, unless he was stabbed in the face. There's one place. One place the killer could have hidden his wound. What did you say? Hidden. This is it. My last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to think about why there were no bloodstains on his clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound. It's the end of the line. The final stop, Wright. Let's hear what you've got. Where is this location where you say the killer hid his wound? Wait, I have to present the evidence where it is? This is it? Yes, Sockstorm, it's it. He hid it right here on this talisman. I don't. So do I just go to the profile itself? Is this gonna count? Such a weird evidence presentation. It sounds awkward, but I'm gonna present him. Yeah, because none of this other stuff. Present his face. Ha. I don't know what you're talking about. And frankly, I don't need to know. What I do know is that you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Well, that was wrong. Isn't that right, Wright? Oh? Oh? What was that just now? Mia? It can't be. You're living on. Through him? Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask. During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Spirit of Mia and Wright, yes. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger wound under there somewhere. Then I'd say... I was gonna sneeze, and then I guess I just changed my mind. I was gonna sneeze during the most dramatic part of this. Then I'd say this whole case is solved. Ah. I don't know why it still gets me. It just still gets me. Just such good animations. Just now, I saw a spirit in you. I never liked you. 6 years ago. You helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. I could never forgive you. That's what I thought. Mr. Godot. But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was me. You, yourself. I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth, to escape from the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask. I threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit. But saved Maya. Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway. What do you mean? Are you listening, Maya? If I had really wanted to save you, then there's one person that I should have gone and talked to right away. Who would that be? Are you talking about Nick? But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother, but I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. Do you know why? The real reason? No, why? I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all. Huh? I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia, nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation that I knew was dangerous. Forgive me. You're wrong. You put your life on the line to save Maya. Was it really for Maya's sake? Even I'm not really sure. What do you mean by that? That night in the darkness of the garden when I saw her silhouette. A part of me must have known the truth. The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. It could have been Misty Faye, or even that little girl. So Tay was right. Hay was 100% right. I guess that's right, because he found out it was Pearl later. I'd even pointed that out after I thought about it a little bit later. Like, no, that revelation about finding out it was, that Pearl was there only happened later. He didn't know at the time. Vengeance is a dish best served in coffee, I guess. It could have been Misty Faye or even that little girl. But I still picked up the blade. It was like I was dreaming. I'm not sure exactly what was going on in my mind at that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Faye? Or was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman who had stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could it have been simply a desire for revenge? And now, I don't know anything anymore. I did learn something today, however. I finally realized that I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy, the stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she left off, as a true defender of the people. In that one moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot. I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando. Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you are trying to save me. Thanks. Your wound. It's bleeding. Conveniently, I might add. Ha. Did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears. Tears? Ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment. Mr. Armando, you do well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. This time, it really is all over, isn't it? Defendant? Yes, Your Honor. Although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with the body at the crime scene is a serious offense in itself. I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained that to me very carefully. I knew the risk and I willingly cooperated anyway. Very well. Before I hand down my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say? Well, there is one thing. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright. I want to apologize to you. Apologize? To me? For what? For For the case 6 years ago, of course. I just remembered. Weren't you poisoned by your own lover? Not exactly, but yeah, something like that. Even now, 6 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was going to do it. She was planning to kill me. It's not all that surprising. The two of you hardly knew each other. Huh? What do you mean? You and my sister? You only met twice.
Were you pretending? Wait, were you dating Phoenix? Like, being a double for some of the dates? Like, what? Oh, because Dahlia hated him so much she wouldn't even date him herself. That is kind of funny.
We only met twice? The first time you met was on that fateful day. The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria of this very courthouse. The next time you met her was 6 months later. You met her again on the day that she stole your cold medicine. And Doug Swallow was killed. No way. It can't be true. I mean, during our whole relationship, we were... For those 6 months, the woman that you thought was Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister. Huh? It wasn't Dahlia? I hope one day you can forgive me. Feeny. You? You mean... That's right. I lied to you for 6 months. But why? Why would you do such a thing? Ever since she gave me the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because of the police investigation and their surveillance, she couldn't move about freely. So that's why you... My sister, from the beginning, she was prepared for the worst. Prepared for the worst? She thought that you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice. You mean she was ready to kill me, don't you? She already had so much to answer for. I didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance. And that's why. You came to me? You came to get the bottle pendant back from me in her place. But I couldn't get you to give it back. I failed at something even as simple as that. 6 months passed and I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about our plans for you that day. It was the first time that had ever happened. Thank you for the hydrate. While I am getting the regular water, let me go ahead and tend to my nose here. Thank you for hydrating me. That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up until that day, you two were partners in crime and she would confer with you. I think she must have noticed. Noticed what? Oh, that you were dating him for real and you weren't interested in the plan? My feelings for you. If I had found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever was necessary to stop her, even if it meant her life or mine. Iris, after spending half a year by your side, my feelings towards you, they changed. I have something to say to you too. Yes, you really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, I still believed in you. Thank you. How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. Get married, get married, get married. I don't know. Are they gonna have a baby and give birth to the next generation of Phoenix Wright games? Ace Attorneys? We'll see. Even I don't know, because I don't know anything about the other games either. I'd have to play them eventually. I'll tell you though, right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. Don't you think so, Phoenix Wright?
Stupid expression on his face. Super serious. It's just so weird seeing him so serious. It almost seems like shopped in a way. It doesn't even feel like a real scene. I think you're right. The purpose of this trial was to rule the murder of the victim, Elise Dono. What does Phoenix name his kid? Chicken Wright? I don't know. Doesn't really roll off the tongue. At some point, I expect you will be tried for your role as an accomplice in this case.
I understand, Your Honor. Very well. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant not Feeny. Court is now adjourned. February 10th, 4:51 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 1. They can't have the confetti drop. It's gonna get in everyone's coffee. It's just gonna be a bad time. Like nobody's gonna appreciate it. And plus, Godot can't even see the red. What's the point? It's just disappointing. It's just not gonna be a good celebration. But you're right. I want my confetti. So I guess it's all over. The way everything ended. Was justice really served? No, because there was no confetti, as Tay pointed out. The man who risked his life to save Maya is being sent to prison by my own hand. Of course justice was served. Mia! I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant. But I couldn't save Mr. Armando, the man who cared so deeply for you. You're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him in the only way possible. You mean with that verdict? I think one day you'll understand too. Phoenix, I want you to remember one thing. You're as good out there today as any defense lawyer could ever hope to be. There's nothing more you can learn from me. Mia, you've accomplished something I wasn't able to. I owe you a great deal. Thank you. Mia, I'm sure we'll meet again, someday, Phoenix. I've handled lots of cases and seen a lot of things. And along this journey, I found myself asking just one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? I suppose today's case produced one possible answer. Nick? Maya? I guess it's just like my sis said. Your sister, Mia? That night when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do, this is what she wrote back in my notebook. Don't worry, Phoenix will save everyone in the end. But, come on, cut it out with that gloomy face. Can't you see? Me, sis, and I'm sure Iris too. We owe you for everything you have done for us, Nick. And by we owe you, I mean you owe me a burger. How? How can you be so bright and chipper after all that's happened? You were brutally attacked. You even saw your mother murdered. Youch! Francisca, still a softie as always, Phoenix Wright. Excellent work, Wright. Okay, I wasn't expecting them to be here. I don't know how I feel about them being here. Huh, Mr. Edgeworth? When did you get back? Oh, that's right. I guess no one filled her in on that. Edgeworth and Francisca have actually been helping me. I thought they went back home. I didn't know they were still... I guess technically it's all been one day. This has been like one super long day. I guess they haven't gone back yet. I keep forgetting like how little time has actually passed in this case. I need more Tylenol. Much better. Okay, Edgeworth and Francisca have actually been helping me. Helping you? If these two hadn't been here on the first day of the trial, the defense wouldn't have gotten anywhere. Wow. But Where were you, Nick? I heard he fell into a river and caught a nasty cold, which forced him to sleep all day.
Yes, he laid in bed shivering from his fever with Iris's hood pulled over his head.
Oh, ouch. Talk about embarrassing, Nick. You definitely need more training. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. And you too. Francisca.
I don't suppose... Is it Larry? Are we gonna end with a Larry Butts ha 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 session? Ah! We need to laugh. I forgot. There's room for me in this group hug, is there?
Oh, Larry. What's with the longer than usual phase? I realized something when I was reborn. I realized that Larry was never of any use to anyone, not even once. That's not true. Right, Nick? What? You're asking me? Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course.
I don't know if they're gonna give me like an end game choice like they have every other game. I feel like they are, but I probably should save just to be safe. I knew it.
Everyone would be better off if I were gone for good. No, no, no. Oh yeah, those portraits you painted, they were really good. Isn't that right, Edgeworth?
What? Me?
Why are you making that face, huh, Edgy?
Oh, well, yes, indeed. I certainly can't say that it's lacking resemblance.
Do you really mean it? What about you, Francie? Did I draw you well, too?
Ah, my beauty can't possibly be captured by a mere crayon.
Gee.
Nevertheless, I recognize the effort you put into it, and that's worth something.
So then you'll do it, like you promised? You're going to model for my next picture book, Francie's Whiplash
Don't get carried away.
Well, how about that? I guess painting portraits is the only thing I'm good at. The painting of Pearl was pretty darn good, too, if you ask me. Huh?
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her around. Pearls? Where could she have gone? Normally she would have made a beeline for Maya. Oh, I'll go look for her. Be right back. Hey, Pearlie. I thought that was her collapsing. I was like, what the heck happened? Is she that hungry? Right. You seem to be uncharacteristically puzzled. I suspect you are wondering how Maya can be so cheerful despite all that has happened. Yeah. To be honest, I can't understand it either. Francisca. That's right. She lost her father fairly recently as well. I think I understand how she feels. Maya's a much wiser person than she appears, and I think she realizes something. Now is exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can. What do you mean by now is exactly the time? Maya wasn't the only one that was badly wounded by this incident. In fact, there was someone that was hurt far more deeply than she. I believe it's for that person that Maya is trying her best not to cry. Someone who is hurt more deeply than Maya? Edgeworth, I think I'm starting to understand too. Ow! Then tell me, Phoenix Wright, who is Maya Fey being strong for? Pearl Fey. The poor kid, after all. The reason that she worked so hard to follow the instructions was because she loved and believed in her mother, Morgan. It's for the good of the Fey clan. I'm sure she believed in every last word. She thought she was doing it for Maya. That's why she was so happy. It shows how truly devoted she is to Maya. But it's a cruel irony that it was her exuberance that led to this tragedy. Maya Fey's mother was killed and Maya herself was put into the deepest peril imaginable. And that's exactly why Maya is putting on a brave face. She's doing it for Pearl's sake, until she can see her smile again. Oh, hey, so this is where you all were. Wow, looks like we've got quite the bunch here to... Ow! What was that for, sir? Sorry about that, Scruffy. My whip just seems to have a mind of its own. What's up, Detective Gumshoe? Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go out tonight, pal. Dinner's on me. My salary's just sorta kinda gone down by a teeny-weeny bit, but it's alright. I made reservations at a first-class French restaurant tonight. Ah, pretty good work, Scruffy. That whip was your reward.
Detective Gumshoe, you said a first-class French restaurant? You don't... Oh, no. We get to go full circle. Très bien. Where else? I knew it. We're doomed. Come on, let's go, everyone. We can't keep Maggie waiting, pal.
That's actually a very good twist. I like it. It's actually a very good full circle.
Hey, you, crybaby, you're invited too. Oh, forget about me. Pearl and I will be at the loser shack eating potatoes. You know, Maya's taking an awfully long time to get back. She's still out looking for pearls? Oh, Maya, what's wrong? Nick, what do I do? Pearlie, I can't find her anywhere. Huh? I'll bet she just went back home. That's all. I thought so too, so I called the village. But no one has heard from her. This has never happened before. We are interrupting funny time for something serious? I'm all for it. As I figured, she has been badly hurt by this incident. She feels responsible for the tragedy that has befallen you, Mai. Okay, no, the fact that they're laying it on this thick means that it's a misunderstanding and we're going to go back to funny time. She feels responsible for the tragedy that has befallen you, Maya. But none of this was her fault. What should I do? Detective Gumshoe. Yeah, what is it, pal? Could you guys go on ahead? But what about you? Mai and I will... We'll join you guys once we find pearls. Nick, don't worry about us, Detective Gumshoe. We may be a little late, but we'll definitely be there. We have a lot of celebrating to do tonight, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. Yeah, but you're the... Ah! Very well, Phoenix Wright. We'll go on ahead. Don't keep us waiting, Wright. We won't. But where should we look? Where could Pearlie have gone? Let's go, Maya. There's only one place I can think of that pearls might have gone to. The loser shack. No, where is she? Oh no, I was kidding. Hazakura Temple, main gate. Hazakura Temple? For pearls, I bet this is a very important place. After all, it's where this whole incident started. What's this? You're all back again so soon? Sister Bikini? I thought we'd be eating mashed potatoes alone tonight. So she's here. Pearlie is here? She's in the training hall. Why don't you hurry along and go see her? Okay. Pearlie's not here. Okay, so they washed off the gravy. Ah, Maya, the hanging scroll. Ah. Someone cleaned it off. It's gotta be pearls. Ah, Mystic Maya. Pearlie? Why? Why did you just leave me like that? Mystic Maya. Mystic Maya. I swore that I would never trouble the two of you ever again. Because it's all my fault that Mystic Maya's mother. That's why you came here? It's the least I could do to pray for your happiness. You don't have to do that, Pearlie. It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course I'm sad that my mother is gone. But how do I say this? I'm still happy. You don't have to lie just to make me feel better. No, really. It's true. The only reason I'm still here at all is thanks to everyone who was there for me. My sis, my mother, Mr. Armando, Nick, and you. If even one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't be alive right now. That's why I have to be strong. For all the people that were there for me when I needed them. That's all I can really do. Mystic Maya. I'm impressed. You truly are the daughter of Mystic Misty. Sister Bikini, your mother, Mystic Misty, was a strong woman indeed. I want to tell you what she said to me that night.
You could just channel your... You're ruining the moment. That's true, she could. She'll probably be there for you now. Harsh words, but well-deserved. Well-placed. After dishonoring the good name of the Crane, I don't have the right to face your daughter. Okay. I mean, it's been 20 years, though. But still, Maya is always in my thoughts. It's true.
She'll always be with me until the day I die. Your spirit was with her. That's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets.
Well, I'm sure she regrets having to die, but but in any event.
She'll always be with me until the day I die, huh? There's a rule or something all masters are to follow, isn't there? To never take the charm off until the day you die. That's the master's talisman, the thing that Misty kept by her heart and would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important, rather it was the contents. It's our confetti! No, what is it? That's a photo? Ah! Mother. It's only natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives. But what makes us human is that we fight for others. But who do you fight for? How hard must you fight? That's the true measure of what human life is worth. So, Francisco, when are you going to hand over the evidence from the plane ride that you said you'd return to us someday for that one case that was finished off? You going to do that? You going to do that? Or are you just going to keep whipping us? We defense attorneys are warriors who are constantly challenged by that question. Even when the battle is over and the bonds that connect us are severed, we always return time and time again. I guess everybody in this family just sucks with this heirloom and relic. We always return time and time again. Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando, and Maya's mother, too. I learned that from all of them. Now in Game 5, right, of course. Well, shall we get going? Everyone is waiting. Ah, this is a day to remember, a day when a lot of things were finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate what we've overcome today. But I still can't. Oh, go on, sweetie. You can come back for training anytime. Okay. All right. I'm going to make a brand new start, too. Sister Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise. I know, and I won't go easy on you just because you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare reservations for 3 when you come back. Wow, hee. All right. We're going to have a great feast today, Pearly. You know why? Because training is a battle of endurance. Okay, Mystic Maya. I'll eat lots and lots of food tonight. You know, there's one thing I don't get. And probably don't want to, but what is it, Nick? Reservations for training is fine and all, but why for 3? Come on, what do you think? You're one of us, Nick. Next time you can train right alongside us. Huh? I'll be waiting for you. Sister Bikini will take special care of you. Huh? It'll be great, Nick. We're going to do this special course, naturally. Huh? That's a great idea. After all, Mr. Nick, you'd do anything for Mystic Maya, wouldn't you? Even walk on hot coals, right? We'll have a nice big meal before we come next time, right, Nick? You know, I was wondering if I can say just one little thing. Sure, of course you can. Objection time! Oh, I love this part. Oh, like, yeah, okay, break the fourth wall, why don't you? I'm getting goosebumps, too. Well then, here goes nothing. I didn't even get I didn't even get to do it. I'm supposed to be the one to do it. They ruined it. They had one job, which was to let me do it. How dare they take away my autonomy? I really have to work extra hard now. Master of Crane, and I have to be a good big sister to Pearly and Nick too. Well, as long as I'm not locked up or captured or something like that. It's auto-advancing, so I have to read, like, basically as it happens. I objected to the objection. I mean, did me saying objection before the prompt even came up counted? It couldn't have. It just was automatic. So it's true, Mr. Nick really is Mystic Maya's knight in shining armor. He went through with the special course all the way to the end. Actually, I heard there's a legendary extra special ultra course here too. I think I'll surprise the 2 of them by making them a secret reservation. Oh my goodness. Phoenix Wright is gonna have his hair turn white. He's gonna be in a coma for 5 years. It's gonna be rough. Maggie brought me a brand new coat as a present, pal. I feel 10 years younger. I'll never take it off. Yes, but somehow you just don't seem the same. I guess a dirty, shabby old overcoat is just more detective-like, sir. Don't worry about it. In the name of love, a man will soil himself silly. I like making that joke in this game. Especially this chapter. This is like the third time they mentioned soiling themselves. Mr. Wright, I am once again in your debt. Thanks to you, the Treasures of Crane exhibit was a great success. I even got to see Miss Von Karma, who I hadn't seen for almost a year. She taught me how to use a whip and said that I must show you what I've learned. See, it's funny because we actually do not want her to demonstrate that on us. So I get the humor there. Jesse and I started a company called Master Consulting. We're dedicated to stopping the evil plans of all criminals in the city. Our motto is, cut it out, please. Pretty cute, huh? Well, we also sell plans to the criminals as a kind of side business.
I wonder if that's okay. So does it think maybe we're the worst criminals? That's kind of funny.
Mr. Wright, I want to thank you for exterminating Don Tigre. I returned the $500,000 along with the tea set. A special thick tea, one I mixed with my own two hands. Ah, the tea forte. The tea forte. I bet he's drinking it now. Went through compromise, he. I'm just old and in the way. A wrinkly, grumpy clown-nosed waste of flesh. At least, that's what I thought. But my grandkids had a birthday party for me the other day. Talk about embarrassing. 69 years old and I cried like a baby with a dirty diaper. That's so many. Fourth soiling joke. And there was Iwadare. Only person credited. I guess he did all the music for this. As usual, we have an abundance of work to do. We've hired a new programmer to replace Glenn Elg. I do hope everyone will get along. His name is Adamada. As soon as I heard his name, I knew our brain circuits would align perfectly.
Yeah, it's easier to notice when it's a pattern, and unfortunately this game has made it a pattern.
My, more reporters? Since the murder, we've made so much money, I hardly know what to do. I think the magazines like us because it provides a nice visual, especially in spring. I could hardly wait for Iris to come back. Wahaha ho ho ho.
Hoomst. We'll get to the final part of the end credits, and then I'll give my final thoughts.
You've turned into such a respectable man, Feeny. It was so sweet of you and everyone else to come and visit me here the other day. Of course, I was happy that you constantly had your eyes on me, but I felt kind of bad when the little one slapped you so hard you got a nosebleed.
Ben Croman Judd for Phoenix Wright. And there's Sean King, Sion King. Mia Fey, Christina Catano. Armando. James C. Wilson.
Objection!
Janet Sue for Francisca. Winston Payne. David as David Crislip. I'm sorry, I read them as two different names, but the first one was just the character name. Oh, Wendy Oldbag does make her cameo.
What's this? I'm back from a long retirement vacation and no one is here to greet me? I guess while I was gone, my little whippersnapper buddy quit and now I've got no one. And what kind of lonely, crazy security room is this supposed to be anyway? What with all this flashing lights and switches, I feel like some sort of space alien. And now what am I going to do with all these macadamia nuts I brought back for everyone? bring them over to Edgy Poo. I know exactly what to say the instance. I really can't accept these. I'm afraid of something just as painful as fragile heart. Oh, when will I ever find a gentleman who will treat me like a fine lady? And the funny thing is, if you didn't examine like one area and the background of that area, you wouldn't even know Wendy would have been involved in this in anything at all. I finally found something I love to do. Franzie's Whiplash Splash is going to turn the art world on its head. I should have realized it sooner. Self-centered, lazy, antisocial. I'm an artist. A really good portrait artist. I'm not a loser after all. It is a good screech. Aw. That's a very good sketch. Oh, there's more? And that's it? Yeah, the portraits are so good. Good work, Larry. I'm glad you found your calling. All right. It's weird having like no background music now as I talk about it. But let's talk about well actually I can just like hit the continue scene from a save point, and then we'll have to go back to the home menu. We'll just have some kind of music in the background. But yeah, so Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations. So my score for this is still going to be respectable. It's actually gonna be a 79. It doesn't quite hit the must-play heights of the 80 plus that the other games did. And I think a lot of the reasons were just like the weaknesses a number of the cases had. I don't think a lot of them had really were as fleshed out and interesting as the other cases were in the preceding games. It got better as the game went on, but this game had a definite Persona 4 problem. And what I mean by Persona 4 problem is what Persona 4 did is when it introduced its characters, it introduced them basically with their weaknesses and flaws first and had them confront them immediately, which opened up the door for the possibility of them doing further and exploring more interesting things with them. But then the Persona 4 people were like, you know what, we don't want to do that. We want to have them have haha silly time. We're going to have them enter kanji in a drag contest because it's funny. We're going to have a fat girl sit on a scooter. We're just going to harp on these very, very... we're going to beat dead horses in terms of these character flaws and tropes, even though they've confronted it and accepted these aspects about themselves because it's funny. And Phoenix Wright, for the most part, in the first two games, yes, characters had flaws. They were interesting, and they were certainly quirks about them. But this game, Edgeworth, I feel like they actually did some good development with. But for the most part, a lot of the characters existed merely to just kind of be exploitive. Like Maya kept ducking under chairs and hiding under everything and just started going, yeah, in an over-dramatic fashion. Francisca was whipping everything in sight. Gumshoe was just talking about his salary being slashed, like he's making all of the jokes that I was continually making. And yeah, they just basically became caricatures. And it just became, it's one of those things where it's not like I'm trying to be like anti-humor, like I'm not trying desperately hard not to laugh, but it is disappointing, that you're just kind of retreading old ground with some of these characters when you can do new and interesting things. Like the relationship between Edgeworth and Francisca von Karma, I never really thought about it too deeply because, Edgeworth being basically being the student or pupil of Manfred von Karma would have put him in contact with Francisca von Karma and would have completely recharacterizes and recontextualizes the ending of the second game, which I didn't even look at it in that lens until it was actually explored and brought up in this game, which I actually appreciated. I think Edgeworth, was able to be handled the best because his characters mostly played serious. There's like little opportunity to really overly flanderize him in a manner that I think is irritating.
the only thing that they can really do to Flanderize him is to have him surrounded by increasingly annoying people, which is what I think they tried to do to try to get a rise out of him, just to be like, he has to be the serious one. What if we put him around like Larry? What if we put him around Gumshoe? What if we have him put around all these incompetent people? But I do think, Pearl did not have as much to do, despite being, like, very pivotal to a lot of the final story. I don't think she did a whole lot this game. I really don't. Even in the chapter itself at the end, she arguably didn't do a whole lot. I will say the whole Dahlia plot, until I realized there was quite a bit more to be doing after Dahlia, I was kind of a bit let down by it. Because it's basically just like, you lose to me, Mia being like, yeah, you lose to me and you're gonna lose to me forever, and then Dahlia's like, oh, okay. She's in Mia's body, she's in Maya's body. She could just, like, kill Maya's body right now and win. Instead, they're just like, can you get out of Maya's body? And she's like, okay, peace, and then leaves. And I was like, if she's going to be banished anyway, like, why didn't she take herself out? Why didn't she threaten to take herself out? Why wasn't there, like, some kind of a pivotal story moment where we had to convince Dahlia, or there had to be some kind of a contingency to where she wasn't going to do that? At first they thought self-preservation. She doesn't want to lose her only lifeline to the world, but if she was just going to be exorcised anyway for, like, no reason, I don't know. Felt weird. Yeah, I know, she thought that she was Pearl this entire time, but then we confronted her in court that she wasn't. And, instead of taking the opportunity to be like, oh, I can exact my vengeance and win, she just leaves the body. She could have won, I guess, by taking her own life, or threatening to take her own life. She had leverage. She certainly had leverage in the courtroom at that moment. I agree, that was the big thing. She thought she was Pearl this entire time, but she wasn't. But when we confronted her with that fact, she had an option. And given how much planning, self-preservation, like, revenge-focused, all of these things that she did, yeah, it's just, I'm surprised that wasn't brought up or explored as an option. I thought, like, I'm expecting this to happen, like, any moment. Like, she's going to... That's why I thought this case was going to be so interesting, and I wasn't sure how we were going to see our way out of it. Is that I knew she had Maya's body. I was, like, so convinced. And I knew that Pearl was going to have Mia, and I knew there was going to be this confrontation. But I couldn't see how, like, Dahlia was going to be convinced to relinquish the body, or how Maya was going to escape unharmed. And that was kind of the funny part of it. Like the second game with the second game with the fifth case with the kidnapper, like how is the person that we've really convinced that's really the murderer going to want to make sure that they confess to go to jail to be protected from the assassin? And it's kind of like, how is this all going to play out neatly? And it turns out it just doesn't. She just leaves the body, and it's just like, oh, okay, I guess I lose, and I guess I lose forever. Well, that sucks. Okay. It's wasn't really on board with that ending. So it brought it back, I guess, a bit with the Diego plot. I guess I like the fact that he acknowledged that his hatred of Phoenix Wright and, like, his resentment, like, really kind of at the end of the day made no sense, because I'm like, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, because it's just like, he didn't really, like, Phoenix Wright didn't really do anything wrong. Like, the circumstances of that murder being at, like, the time of day it was, and, like, everything else, like, there's no way he could have been responsible. Yeah, started slamming her head on the bench, my goodness, like, Manfred von Karma vibes all over again. I did like the final case, though. I do think it is the... I do like the fact that Edgeworth came back. I feel Francisca's return was forced. I don't really think that she had to come back. I know Edgeworth picked her, but Edgeworth's return, I think, felt a little bit more natural than Francisca's return. I liked having more closure with Edgeworth. That was certainly nice, but I think of all the final cases, I feel it is the weakest of the final cases. For me, funnily enough, the order is Phoenix Wright, then Justice for All, then Trial and Tribulations. So in the exact
order of the series coming out. I liked Game 1's final case the most, just because it felt so, the whole takedown took so satisfying. 2 was everybody coming together, but the takedown was not as satisfying because, you know, I understand everybody got together, but did everyone really have to come together to take this person when it didn't take everybody else coming together to take down others? I don't know. That kind of rubbed me a little bit the wrong way, but I still really liked Case 2. Game 2, Case 5. And then in last place, I guess, is this, but it did higher than I thought it was going to get, that's for sure. It definitely kept me thinking. It confused me thoroughly as before I realized that Dahlia was actually channeled 2 different times, because I'm like, why would Maya protect herself from someone who hasn't been channeled yet? Very confused. Yeah, it could have been Edgeworth versus Screecher Guy. I guess it's just like, you know, we want like everybody coming together to kind of put closure to this. I guess it makes sense because it's it all relates back to the DL6 incident, like the case that will never truly go away. I think I was a little bit put off by the Dahlia payoff. I feel like there should have been like her just kind of leaving the body, and just there not really being any sort of ending for her other than like, I guess you just lose to me forever and you just have to accept that. I feel like that could have been delivered in a more poetic way, but I would have liked to have been convinced of that a little bit more before they left me with that and just had her leave the body. If they could have like disarmed her when she was in Maya's body more, I think I would have probably been completely sold on it. It's just that I didn't think it worked out fully. But overall, like I said, if the lowest game in the Phoenix Wright series to me has a 79, it's a pretty engaging series overall. I've had a lot of fun with the series since I've been introduced with it, and you know, again, it went from having the first game redeemed to having like some of the later games like not even needing to be redeemed, me just doing it. Although I think the second one ultimately did get redeemed, but this one I think was all my choice because I did want to finish off the trilogy. I probably at some point will look into the other Phoenix Wright games unless people really advise against it. I am curious, but I could always satisfy my curiosity by just kind of doing my own independent research. I don't have to play the games, but if you think they're worth it, at some point I'll probably visit it. But that's Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations, 10 streams, some of which were quite a bit shorter than others. Definitely the longest time it's taken me to beat a Phoenix Wright game in terms of number of streams. There were certainly streams that were, you know, marathon streams, like the first couple of games. Apollo Justice, Joe seemed to like the Edgeworth games. You think you'll like the first Edgeworth game? I'll definitely look into this, because now I have to try to look into where everything starts to branch off from here without spoiling myself too much. I am surprised I've managed to remain this spoiler-free, despite everything, despite the internet existing, despite, you know, OSTs I might have looked up at certain points. It's made this a lot more fun that I've been strung along for the ride the entire time. Shusey is your favorite. I did warm up to Iris at the end, like the ending and the revelation and everything. I was like really, really sweet. She just ultimately wanted to, you know, she felt really, really sorry for her sister. She had a horrible upbringing. And yeah, she did turn out to be the best girl in this case. And probably the game itself. So, anyway, Dahlia is defeated. And that brings us to Thursday. Remember, everybody, I told everybody and announced to everybody what the first game of 2026 was going to be that was fresh. And it's going to be Lunar Silver Star Harmony. We're going to use the emulator, however you say it, the PSPSPS, which sounds like a cat call. So we'll be using that because I don't have a means to really hook up a capture card to a PSP
to be able to otherwise do that. Or if I had a similar setup to how I'm using my 3DS right now, I would probably employ that. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. But like I said, next week, my schedule is going to be changing because I am going to be introducing I said this towards the beginning, so you would have missed this, Tay. But I am going back to 4 days a week in terms of streaming. We're going to run a trial of that with Tuesday and Saturday being the two streams that are going to be for Lunar going forward. So I recognize I hope that may mess with certain people's schedules, and I'm sorry, but I'd rather have it, Tuesday, Thursday. I'd rather have a Tuesday, Saturday, Thursday, Monday, rather than a Tuesday, Thursday burst and a Saturday, Monday burst. But my totally legitimate PSP, yes. So that means we'll be starting with Castlevania Curse of Darkness because that's the first game on my list. But the game that follows that is going to be it's actually going to be I forget the full title, but it's the DigiCarrot game that Suitcase had redeemed. That's going to be after the Castlevania Curse of Darkness. But I'll have to change everything on my description below starting next week as far as the schedule. But for right now, it's going to be Lunar Thursday, and then it's going to be Lunar Tuesday and Saturday, and then Monday and Thursday is going to be Castlevania Curse of Darkness, at least for the following week. But for this week, it's just going to be a Saturday. It's just going to be my Thursday stream, and that's it. Have I thoroughly confused everybody? If I have, I'm sorry. But that's I do want to try to get. I don't have much of a backlog right now in terms of the games. In fact, once I finish the DigiCarrot game, there's nothing else that's on my list of redeems that I see here. So the path is certainly open for anybody else to redeem thereafter. I will enable redeems next week for any sort of channel points for game redeems if people are interested. Other than that, enough plugging my own channel. That's Phoenix Wright. Almost 4-hour stream. Wow. But we are finally done. And I do have one last thing I do need to check before we go. And that is, since we finished Phoenix Wright, the end cover art, because each of these chapters have typically had, once you finish them, it showed some sort of like, what do you call it? Like portrait art? Something to that effect at the beginning. I don't know what to call it, like an eye catch? Eye catch might be the best way to put it. Oh, actually, I don't think there's any way to do it. Well, shoot. Let me either pick from save data or from chapter start. Yeah, cover art or like an eye catch, one of the two. Doesn't look like I can do it. Well, that's unfortunate. So I may have to just look it up on my own. But thanks anybody. Anyway, this stream has officially concluded. But thanks everybody. I'll be back Thursday for Lunar Silver Star Harmony, and wish me luck. I hope I enjoy it. Although I know I've already said my piece about the beginning. I'll probably say it again once I play it, but I think the introduction is wholly unneeded, and everyone can see for themselves as of why on Thursday. But take care, everybody. I'm so excited to play Lunar Silver Star Harmony, and take care. Yes, you're welcome.